Hello everyone, hope all's well. This is WinRider71 and today we're playing Vainglory. So in my previous video I didn't really talk much about the actual items that I use, so I'll go over a little bit more in depth of the items that I'm using, and obviously I'll go over the actual gameplay. Today we'll be playing as Kinetic again as a weapon carry.
The battle for Sovereign's Rise has begun. Lane minions have arrived.
So I usually start out with Weapon Blade and Book of Eulogies. Weapon Blade for the small amount of attack, and I do like Book of Eulogies just because of the small amount of lifesteal. And even though it might not be much during the early phase, it's definitely enough to survive and potentially win one-on-ones in the early phase. So Kinetic versus Ringo is actually a pretty decent matchup. I'm at a slight advantage just because of my heroic perk and my dash. However, my Q or A, whichever designation you prefer, my Q or A ability is a skill shot, and it will hit whatever target is in front. So even if I'm trying to aim for him, if there's a minion in front of me, it will hit the minion instead of him. While Ringo's biggest advantage is the fact that he has an attack speed ability, and his Q or A can actually go through minions. It can ignore minions. It's not a skill shot. All he has to do is click on me and then he'll aim for me. You see, what this Ringo should have been doing is that he should have been staying aggressive and close to his minions, like right behind them, and abusing his Q. Just because if there are minions in front of him, I can't really take advantage of Kinetic's abilities, just because my Q will hit whatever is in front.
Cover me.
As long as there were minions in front of him that he can hide behind, he can easily just dance around the minion and start abusing his Q and even his attack speed ability.
So much antiquated dwarven. You have killed an enemy.
So usually my first buyback would be heavy steel just for the extra attack, and if I have enough money I would try to get boots.
Burn it. Burn it all. Back off my hill.
So over here I'm gonna back off a little bit just because he was properly placed behind minions, and like I said, I can't do much. I can't take advantage of Kinetic's abilities if he has minions in front of him, just because I need my Q to land.
You have killed.
See, his biggest mistake there was that he went aggressive way too late. I backed off a little bit when I saw that when he had minions in front of him, just because he still actually did a good amount of damage against me. But the moment the minions started getting eliminated, that's when he made a mistake and got too aggressive too late.
I never trip over my hair. Enemy hero killed.
So the early game pressure I put on Ringo will eventually allow me to start being able to pick off kills later on, which will then in turn allow me to snowball throughout the entire game. So the main complete item I'm trying to finish right now is Sorrow Blade. The two items I always try to get first or complete, aside from the boots, is Sorrow Blade and Poison Shiv. So when it comes to just raw stats in general, when it comes to the life stealing items, I can either get Poison Shiv or Serpent Mask. Normally I prefer getting Poison Shiv just because when it comes to the raw stats, I prefer the attack speed that Poison Shiv gives rather than the extra attack that Serpent Mask gives. So we got in a good amount of team fights in mid lane here. No one really got any big distinct advantage over the other. Like we were able to push them back a couple of times, and they were able to push us back a couple of times. But for the most part, there were really no big advantages here.
Killed an enemy. You are unbeatable. Hero killed.
When you're playing Kinetic, it's really good to have good field awareness, just so that way you can pick off kills like that. So the third main weapon I try to go for after Sorrow Blade and Poisonous Shiv is Bone Saw. I like Bone Saw because it gives me more attack speed while also giving me the armor piercing stat. When it comes to boots, I like to go for a War Tread just because it gives me a lot more health. Even though Journey Boots is good, I prefer the extra health over the perk of Journey Boots.
Enemy hero killed. Allied hero killed. Ally shut down.
So at this point of the game, my final two items are going to be Slumbering Husk and Tyrant's Monocle. So Slumbering Husk is usually the standard or the recommended defensive item for weapon carries. When it comes to Tyrant's Monocle will definitely give me a little bit more of weapon damage, but the most important aspect of it is the critical chance and critical damage that it provides for your weapon carry.
Ally shut down.
So the standard item order that I like to complete is Sorrow Blade, Poisonous Shiv, Boots, Bone Saw, Slumbering Husk, and Tyrant's Monocle. So that's the standard weapon order that I usually like to go to. Depending on the situation, I can probably rush Tyrant's Monocle over the defensive item, and sometimes I'll even rush Tyrant's Monocle over Bonesaw. But for the most part, I do like to get Bonesaw first, just because I really like the attack speed on my weapon carries. And armor piercing, of course.
Hero kill.
I'm good.
That does it for this video, guys. I definitely thought that this match should have lasted not as long as it should have, but for the most part, the other team did. They were able to hold themselves defensively for a bit, and they were actually even able to push us back, so props to them for actually being able to hold their own despite what the score may suggest. Alright, thank you everyone for joining me today. This has been WinRider711, hope all is well, and I shall see you all in the next video. Have a good one.